Hey guys, welcome back to the Cocco channel and to another dating horror stories. It's been a couple weeks since I've done this just because I've been sick and blah blah blah. So today is Friday and I need to get this video up tonight. I've already filmed it. I had lipstick all across the front of my teeth. Thank you, freaking Kylie Jenner. Bah! I should have looked. It was my fault. It's not her fault. Anyway, so where did we leave off? We left off with that girl getting knocked out by Viet. We're talking about my ex whose name is Ass. So let's go ahead and get started. So this was around the November, December time frame of that year. Earlier in the year, my great grandmother was diagnosed with cancer of various kinds. You know how that kind of works is when it starts one place, it very quickly spreads to others. And so she lived in a little town called Golden Valley right outside of Kingman, Arizona. And obviously at the time I was living in Las Vegas, which it's only like 2 hours one way. So on my days off, I would go down there and help out my mom and my grandmother. Little backstory is that my great grandmother had my grandmother when she was 15, and then obviously my grandmother had my mom when she was 17. My mom was I think 23 or 24 when she had me. So I was very fortunate enough to have like that, you know what I mean, like womanly, those generations, you know what I mean, like I grew up with my great grandmother and my grandmother and then obviously my mom. So anyways, we were all very, very close, and so anytime I had time off, I would go down there. My mom would go, my grandmother would go, you know, from California, and we would all just help out as much as we could. And you know, she was on hospice and stuff like that. So anyways, I would go down there pretty frequently, and it never even crossed my mind to like be worried about it, but it was definitely a life lesson of like, if he cheats with you, he'll cheat on you. I found out later that when Ass and I very first started, you know what I mean, talking and stuff, he was, you know, you heard the story of like him living with his ex. They weren't quite exes yet until she did find my bag in his car, or her car actually. Anyways, so one weekend I came home earlier than anticipated, and you know what I mean, it's just very hard, all that travel, number one, and number two, like seeing somebody you love that you grew up with going through something like that, it was very, very hard. And so I just came home earlier, and so this was in the days of MySpace, and of course that was your typical girlfriend who like stalked their boyfriend on MySpace to see what they were doing and make sure they weren't doing anything stupid, right? And his page was like mostly about his artwork, you know, because he was a tattoo artist, and it was just like pictures of, you know, his work that he had done on people, and you know what I mean, stuff like that. Like there was never any comments or like any indicators that I needed to be worried, you know. And so anyways, I came home and he wasn't there. But his MySpace was left open, and there were messages, and I wasn't like clicking through his stuff. It was like on his message center, like from this specific girl who was like messaging him very like explicit content, very unladylike content, you know what I mean? And you know, just thank you for last night, and I can't wait to see you again tonight, blah blah blah. And so I was just obviously heartbroken. Number one, you know, being cheated on is just one of the worst feelings. It was kind of like a double-sided coin where, you know, I knew I was in a really dangerous situation, and this wasn't somebody that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, you know what I mean? So it was like a dead-end relationship, and I knew that. But at the same time, when you're living with somebody and you've been with them for a little while, and you know what I mean, they're part of your every single day, whether you're really like still head over heels in love with them, it's still hurtful, you know what I mean? So it was really like crazy timing. Like right after I read those messages, his friend Kat, who I think I called the assassin, called me and asked me if I wanted to come to this house party. And I was like, that's really interesting that you say that, because Ass just blah 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 cheated on me and blah 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 him. And so yes, I would love to go to a house party, you know. And so I'm thinking, blah 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 you, dude, you know, I'm gonna get you. Or not that I was even like looking for like, you know, a guy to like get him back with or anything like that. Like in my mind I was like, I'm just gonna act like it doesn't faze me. I'm gonna, you know what I mean, go on like my feelings aren't hurt, and you know, have a great time. So I texted him and let him know You know what I mean? Like I took a picture of the screen that was up, and you know, I can't specifically remember exactly what I told him, but it was basically blah 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 you. You know what I mean? And so I show up to the house, and it was a complete 180 of what I was used to hanging out with Ass. It was like super chill, super low key. There was like no gangsters, you know what I mean? Like everyone was just low key, mellow. Hey, how's it going? You know what I mean? Like not yo, what's up, blah blah blah, you know what I mean? So it was just like a really awesome experience to like see that that is what was available, and it was almost like a sign, you know what I mean? And so we're hanging out, we're having a great time. I end up talking to this guy, and he was like super chill. He was really nice. He was going to college, which, you know what I mean, I definitely put that on hold, hanging out with Ass. And so it was just like really what's the word, like motivating, you know what I mean? Like this is gonna be okay. And so him and I, you know what I mean, we just start talking, and you know what I mean, like I didn't touch him, he didn't touch me, we weren't kissing or anything like that. We go out to the garage and we're playing beer pong with everyone, and everyone's hanging out as a group. It's not like we were like in a room alone talking to each other or anything like that, you know what I mean? Not that I need to justify my actions whatsoever, but like just to set the scene for you guys. So we're playing beer pong, and all of a sudden Kat's like, I shouldn't have let you come here. And I was like, let me do what? You know what I mean? Like you didn't let me do anything. Like you, I don't understand. I thought we were cool. She's like, I just got a text from Viet, and I told him that you were here. And I was like, well, that's not cool, you know what I mean? And so I was like, okay. And she's like, I can't pick you over my family, which here comes the gangster bull crap, you know? And I was like, okay, so, and she's like, he's with Ass. And I was like, well, that's just great. And she's like, he's asking me for the address and I have to give it to him. And I was like, oh, okay, well, he can come. I'm not doing anything wrong. He's the one who's in the wrong, you know what I mean? And right then and there, I really should have just been like, I'll just go, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not into any of that. I should have. So here they come, they show up, they come inside, and they are just so out of place in this, you know what I mean? I don't even know like how Kat knew these people. Like maybe she was trying to get out of whatever situation she was in, you know what I mean? I don't know, because everyone here was just so cool, clean, and you know what I mean? Like it was just so different than the people Ass hung out with, aside from his two friends that weren't gangsters, you know? So Ass is sitting in a chair to my right, and I like remember it so vividly. And the other team had thrown the pong, you know, the ping pong ball, and it went between me and the guy that I'm playing with. So I turned around and picked up the ball and turned back around, because like it had went behind me, so I had to take a couple steps, you know what I mean? Turned around, picked it up, turned back around. Ass jumps out of his chair and knocks this dude out. He falls into like the ping pong table. It was a mess. So this kid got knocked out, and I was like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was like being an idiot and like flirting with him like in front of Ass just to be vindictive and stupid, you know what I mean? Like I should have never done that, knowing the background of him and his friends, you know what I mean? I never should have done that, and that kid paid for it, you know what I mean? I should have just left. I really should have. So anyways, this kid gets knocked out, and at the same time that that happens, like not even like a millisecond later, his friend Viet opens the garage door and they go like running under it. Well, I'm so pissed that he hit this kid who had nothing to do with what was going on with him and me. Mind you, what that was him cheating on me. It was just like, I was so mad, you know? So I go running after him, and I grab a hold of his shirt to like yank him back, and he yanked his shirt so hard that he broke my finger, and it was my pinky. So he breaks my pinky, and I like start crying because it hurt, and I had been drinking, which just absolutely, you know what I mean, magnifies every emotion. So I go back inside. Kat like stints my finger with, I think it was like a nail file and some tape, and the guy obviously came too, and he was like, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I don't want this here, and I'm gonna need you to leave, which I don't blame him. I did get kicked out. I don't blame him at all, because that was just unnecessary, uncalled for, and they don't know if this, you know what I mean, they're gonna come back or what else is gonna happen. So I don't blame them at all. But I'm gonna stop the story right there, just because that night has so much more to it, and we're already at like 10 minutes, and I'm gonna just leave it there. Next week we will cover how it ended and what other craziness happened that night. So I hope you guys enjoyed the retail horror stories. If you did, that's not what this is. It's a dating horror story. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, my name is Brittany Cocco. You are watching the Cocco channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a dating horror story episode next week, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye. My poor little pinky. Hi. Hi, Sicky. Oh, bless that mess. No, touch. No. You want to play with that one? You can have that one.
Here, Bubble.
Andrew.
Come on.